I'm just gonna go with da-na-na-na-na-na. Little charge into this little charge into the podcast.
That's perfect, man. That's it. That's
Sweet.
Mike. We have
Hang on
Mike
a second.
here.
Charge!
Okay, so we've got an interesting podcast here. We want to talk about social media.
Oh,
All right, this is really cool. So, Mike, how about you introduce yourself to our listeners and tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do, your thoughts on social media and businesses, I guess.
Yeah, so founder of Social Media House, started the business about 6.5 years ago as a completely different name. I actually thought I was going to create the app that was going to change the grocery shopping world. It didn't go that well. But it was an exciting adventure. Along the way, we kind of picked up the marketing and content creation. We actually, the people that bought into the app early, we said it's not done, but let us do something. You've invested this money. Let us create marketing for you. And a lot of those clients that signed up and took that chance on us 7 years ago are still clients today. So we did something right. Yeah. So it was a bit of a different spin. 4 years ago, I bought the business out from my two business partners, turned it into my own incorporation. About 2.5 years ago, we came up with Social Media House, which is what it is today. And two sides of the business. One is running marketing campaigns for a handful of people. We don't do it a lot anymore. The other side is social media training and advertising training. We'll go into small to mid-sized company. We'll teach them content strategy. We'll teach them how to execute their own social. We build them a customized plan in-house with them that they can take for themselves and activate. And then certain types of businesses will teach Google and Facebook and different type of advertising only if it's a type of business that could actually succeed with doing it themselves. There's a lot of businesses, e-commerce, personal brands that may not fit that. Simple businesses, roofing companies,
Mom and pop shops.
mom and pop, dentists, those types of businesses. There's not a lot of stuff that changes when it comes to advertising in those spaces. And so for me, it's like you can get them on a path, teach them how to monitor it, and then once you've got a good campaign set up, you really don't have to change anything. So those, I'm very comfortable going in and training them how to do it themselves.
Good. So are we fair to say that regular forms of advertising, print and yellow pages and phone booths and all that shit is dead? Are we fair to say that?
I would say it's way less effective and way too expensive for what it is. So in that sense, dead.
Okay.
I mean, Yellow Page, I still get calls all the time. Hey, do you want to activate your Yellow Pages thing? I'm like, no, I'm good.
Wow.
Wow,
Yeah.
I don't even remember last time I heard Yellow Pages.
Yeah,
You
Yelp.
just heard it right now.
Yeah, Yelp and all those guys. And the problem is, so they're huge companies, they're public, and so they have to make really high margins with their advertising products. They sell you premium ad placement if people go to their website, and then they're selling the same product to different people. How many painters are going to be the premier ad for Oakville Paint? It's just they're overpricing. If you were to take that same budget as a small business, $500, $1,000 a month, and put that directly on Google, your return would be 20x. What Yelp, whatever Yellow Page, whatever any of those companies would give you, they're just not effective. They have to charge a lot because they have so much overhead.
But in today's day and age of a mom and pop shop, so we're construction, so we're talking about trades and everything like that. We want to use social media. We want to use, like, how do we get that messaging? Because we're so used to guys in the very beginning, magnetic sticker on the side of the van, word of mouth. But we know that. But
How did
digital.
you know?
What do you mean? That's how it was. You know that.
I had that.
The magnetic sticker.
Yeah.
Of course you did. It was probably a specific size because of the print shops in your local neighborhood.
Just enough for the door.
That's all it was. And then whenever the van was dirty, you took it off and you have that white spot there.
I took it off because a lot of times if I lived in a condo or a residential area,
You
I
had
wasn't
to take it
allowed
off.
to have a commercial vehicle, so I had to remove that.
Tradespeople today, how can we, let's take any tradesperson right now, how can we get them on that path? How can we get them understanding that them focusing a little bit more effort on their business to grow their business? How do we attack it? It's like some of the first things that they should be doing.
It's funny enough. We had this morning. I had 40 small businesses in Peel Halton, and we did a fundamentals of social media and content and strategy. So it was a whole 4-hour workshop that we did.
Wow.
We had this conversation earlier today, and so there's a lot of people that think, oh, posting on Facebook is what the kids do, and it's a waste. And so my argument is this. When we had these specific conversations with people in their 40s, 50s, and one guy a bit older, and I said, how do you look up a company? Well, I go to their website and I look around and I see if it's whatever, and I was like, okay. And then And then one person was, oh, well, I click on their Facebook link. End of conversation.
Yeah.
It's not to say that your Facebook post is going to get seen by somebody and that's going to make them the customer because they discovered you, but it's a credibility. It's an awareness thing. If you go to someone's Facebook page and the last post was 2016, oh shit, these guys are out of business. With a website, it can stay up forever and you would never know when was the last time it was anything done to it. You can look at the little date at the bottom of the page, but most people don't look at that. They go to social, and if they're active and if they look like they're involved in the community and in the space, they say, oh, it's an active business. It looks like they're doing stuff. So that alone is a good enough reason to be activating on social.
So on some form of social, right? Now, are you choosing a specific social based on your business or your age group?
I think you have to. I think you have to understand how much time you can put in. You have to understand where your customers spend their time on the internet, and then you got to make content for those platforms. Does it make sense for every tradesperson to have Instagram?
Possibly.
Possibly. LinkedIn? Possibly. But certainly a Facebook, because it's going to be that 40 plus people that are probably owning homes, and those are the people that are going to, for the most part, are going to hire you. So Facebook's a great place.
I guess the first question to ask is the tradespeople, who do you want to speak to?
Yes.
So if you're looking to actually speak to other tradespeople to network and build your business that way, then I guess you go down one path. But if you actually want to drum up business and speak to your potential clients, you'll go down another path because you want to speak to those two audience. Those are two different kinds of audiences.
Absolutely. And so the exercise I always start out with is think about your last 5 customers and put them into a persona, give them their name, talk about where they live, talk about their age, talk about their interests, talk about their pain points. If you detail those 5 points alone, you should be able to say, okay, that person spends their time watching YouTube or doing this or doing that. If you profile 3 to 5 of your most recent clients, you take the average of your clients, you can generally tell what they want to know about, what content you should be creating. You know, my interests are, I just want a painless process. I want somebody that I can trust. I want someone that's knowledgeable. I want them to take the reins and move this project forward, right? So your content should be case studies, testimonials about how you've done that for other people. Your content on Facebook should be about how we use these procedures to make sure our jobs go really, really well. All you're doing is you're answering the FAQ, the social media FAQ, the website FAQ, the stuff you get asked in person all the time, and you're just addressing those questions before they ask.
Well, that's a great way to look at it, huh? Like you basically are doing what I guess other generations were doing, but they did it face to face. That's all you're doing, but now you're taking it to a digital platform now. So pay attention to what the clients are, like your previous clients have done, and that will attract the future clients. Regarding building your circle of business, you attack it the same way. You pay attention to what those tradespeople are doing.
From that side, it's a little bit different. So what's valuable to the end client is those like the trust and the fact that somebody's going to guide me through the process and I'm going to feel comfortable. So that's one thing. From a business to business piece, if I'm a business, you want me to pay attention to something that you're doing, you got to bring some kind of value that incentivizes me to come and play. So what is that thing, right? Can you make my life easier? Are you interviewing people and providing entertainment? Are you doing some informational stuff? Are you maybe you're interviewing different brands and helping unpack or creating different content for them? If you're making my life easier, whether it's informational or entertaining or whatever that may be, then that gives me a reason to follow you that's different than why the customer would interact with you.
So you really do have to treat these two groups of people completely different, right? And you have to ask yourself, as a business owner, do I want to be entertaining? Do I want to be educational? You have to figure out your own profile and then speak to your audience regarding the industry and then speak to your audience regarding business.
Yeah. My best trick with business to business, I set up Google alerts for anybody that I want to pay attention to what they're doing. You can also set up like social listening. So if somebody mentions that brand or that brand does a post and it has a certain keyword in it, it comes up and the alerts like on a Wario, which is a software tool that we use, or Google Alerts, it'll pop up the most recent coverage or the most recent content about them. I just pay attention and say, ooh, this feels impactful. They've done something interesting or they've produced something. So then I'm going to put it on Facebook or LinkedIn and tag them and say, hey, these guys just launched this awesome thing, or these guys just completed an amazing project, or these guys just created a new color of grout. Check this shit out, Mapai. I was in the flooring industry before, so I know. And so you're then showing them love and saying, they're saying, oh, you guys are promoting me and out of nowhere, out of no obligation. That makes people really happy. So
that starts the conversation. And that's what you want to do.
And so that's the easiest way from the B2B side to bring that value is like showcase their stuff. And then you kind of build that relationship by saying, hey, I'm showing you some love.
I guess with the clients, back to the clients, to actually get them to be interested in you, because guys are always fighting over each other. They have to figure out what's going to set them apart from another contractor that's bidding on a job. They have to actually do their own homework on that client and figure out what exactly do they want to hear us say to them to attract them.
Yep.
That's what. So you're analyzing them.
Yes.
Digitally speaking.
Yeah, and I would say, so the most important thing, so the social thing aside, your social should match that personality. It should have all that information as well. But I think on the website, right at the very top of the website, too many people talk in these wide-eyed, theoretical, we're going to immerse your home and like, okay. But like if you... Fluff, yeah.
That's what it is. It's just fluff.
And so I focus on who are we? What exactly do we do? And then if we serve, on average, this type of person, say you do only like really customized stuff, or say you do specialized ceilings or whatever it is, talk about that directly. We create the most amazing customized ceilings for this and this type of person. Most people say, well, hold on. But then if someone comes to my website and they don't want that, then they're not going to hire me. Are you bidding on too many different things that aren't your ideal customer anyway? That might be the answer to that. So I like to be as specific as possible. So
look for your strengths.
Right. And so for me, right on the front of our site, you land, we teach businesses how to become experts on social media. So they know, don't call me if you want me to run your social media, but if you want to become an expert, if we're going to make your team an expert, we're the people to talk to.
You're going to educate them on how to pay attention to all these little details.
And the thing is, like, people think, oh, well, now if anybody ever wants marketing or they ever want something else, no one will ever call you for that. But it doesn't matter. If you've got a reputation, if other people are referring you and they're coming to the site, they're going to ignore that anyway and say, hey, can you do this other thing? They're not going to pay attention. But new people, if you think about the ideal customer for you, writing that out in a really explicit way will attract the best people, and it will make the ideal customer say yes, and it might make the other people a little more reluctant, or maybe, oh, well, they do this, well, that's not exactly what I want, but then that might not have been the person for you anyway.
But you're doing this because, okay, so you're not looking to go in and do all the heavy lifting for them. You want to just direct them. You want to guide them, because the reality is that as a mom and pop shop, you're the best voice to express your business. So if you find out your strengths and what your business is all about, or where your business wants to go, you're just helping us get us on the right path. And then you're going to show us what to continuously do to continue that path, to attract those clients, to attract those other tradespeople that are going to work with you. That's generally the idea. You're quiet. Why are you quiet, man?
I'm listening, and like I find that like Facebook is like my source of propaganda, where I send my personal messages of the
I've gotten
universe
some
and the
Facebook
world.
posts from you, and I just opened up the first one, and I haven't opened one since, because I don't want to see this stuff.
Yeah, so like I've always felt like in my world, Facebook isn't for business for me, or a place for me to express my feelings of the world.
You got the best caveman here when it comes to digital.
But when it comes to Instagram, I feel that it's very interesting that I can find any business I'm looking for. I feel that I'm connected to pictures. I find that Instagram is really that source of construction for me. So that's like my go-to place.
But do you understand that Instagram is actually a business tool to drum business, to attract business, to build business?
This is something I'm just getting into now. The people that I've been in business with, or where I've come from, I've never had to have that worry. Like, I've always had work. So I've never worried about that. Now that I'm interested in changing my business, I find it very interesting. But I've never found Facebook. I've posted work, and I never feel like I get any attention back. But on Instagram, I feel people have contact, they communicate with me, they react, they give me opinions, and it's all work related.
So there's a couple thoughts on that, but I think one of the most important things is so for example, we're not creating a lot of visual content. I mean, we film the podcast and it goes out on Instagram. We're using the same stuff for Instagram and Facebook just to keep it populated. Most of our traffic and attention comes in from Instagram, from the videos, but we're not doing anything really different. I think for that industry, where it is a visual industry, for instance, if you spend the time taking good photography of your jobs and you're producing that stuff, Instagram is great. But I actually worked with a custom home builder not that long ago, and could have had someone following him around with the camera, getting shots, well, it's too much work. Well, then don't use Instagram. If you don't have good pictures of the stuff you're doing, you can't use it. It's all
true.
pictures. Facebook is kind of that cheat around where you can have like, here's the behind the scenes of like a bunch of half done stuff, and then here's some insights on it, where you wouldn't put that on Instagram, right? You'd put the finished product, or maybe before and after, like you'd swipe through and see them.
But these guys like Carlito and other guys, they don't realize that Instagram makes it pretty easy to turn an okay picture into a good picture,
Yep.
right? So there are filters. It's just they're surprised that there's so many little details that you can do to tweak things and change things and make it a little more interesting, like make the photograph brighter, focus on a vignette, do some high contrast stuff. These are really basic. If you scroll into the filter stages of Instagram, you can actually take your okay photograph and turn it into a nice looking photograph, which will back to business. It'll drum up business. But it's important. I think it's important that you and everybody that's in construction get on these platforms, right? I recently have been seeing a lot of growth on LinkedIn regarding construction, like activity wise, right? Because I think that Instagram has been hurting everybody by whatever they're doing behind the scenes, right? And I think it's been hurting the construction industry a lot. And I think since they jumped on Instagram, because I believe that Instagram was the easiest platform and that's why construction really connected with it, I find that now that Instagram is penalizing us, I guess, for lack of a better word, they're frustrated. They're being really, really hard on themselves, thinking, why is my social failing? And it's not failing. You can talk more about that, Mike. I think it's they're not being adaptive.
The challenge is that Instagram is doing what Facebook did 6 years ago.
Yeah.
They're saying, hey, you got all this free attention, you've built up this big following. Now we're going to show less of your followers stuff because we'd like you to pay for ads so that your people can see stuff. That's what Facebook did, and that's where they make their money. I mean, even from Google's standpoint, they make 97% of their money on the ads.
Wow.
Facebook and Instagram, they used to make their money selling the data. Now now they got in trouble. So it's an ad thing. And so what they did is they whet everybody's appetite. They're like, oh, look at this engagement, look at this growth. Oh, now you're relying on it. Sorry, we're just going to start shrinking it. And we're seeing it at the highest levels. So we work with a couple hip hop artists out of Chicago, and even from the Facebook and Instagram, cumulatively, one of the guys we work with has about 8.3 or so million followers.
Okay. Wow.
So big. And we were growing his Instagram, I think close to 3,000 or 4,000 followers a day. A day. And every post, because of how the reach was shrinking, every time we posted, even with that growth of followers, it was the same amount of people seeing it. We couldn't grow it fast enough to match how much Instagram was throttling back. Where everyone's in the middle of it right now. We can't get growth on anybody's account. It's crazy.
But they're purposely doing this.
Absolutely.
And they're doing it for ad dollars, right? And we all hated Facebook for that 6-7 years ago, and now we're all hating Instagram.
Yeah.
And I think that's why. And I was a big believer in the beginning when I got on social that I didn't want to rely on one platform, right? So it was great that Instagram grew so well for me. I didn't really pay attention too much to Twitter, but I kind of fed Facebook, but I like LinkedIn is definitely one to pay attention to.
Yeah.
And maybe it's in the same boat. I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think some big company, Microsoft or somebody, bought LinkedIn, or that's what it is, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So all of a sudden you get these big corporations come in and they're like, listen, this is a machine. It's about making money. We understand that you're using this to make your business grow too, but we want a piece of that business, right?
Yeah. So you'd make a post and you'd use like 10 hashtags, right? Hashtag construction, hashtag renovations. So what that would do is that would show other people that have looked up construction or renovation stuff. You know, when you look at the little eyeglass thing and it's your discovery screen, it's here's what we recommend based on what you're already watching. So it would load your stuff in there like crazy based on the hashtags. And now it's limiting that, and it's showing ads in there, and it's showing Instagram TV, and it's prioritizing different content. So when you used to be able to post with 30 hashtags and get 5,000 people to see it, even with the same followership now, you'd probably get 3,000 instead of 5. It's just not showing it to as many people because it's trying to force you to pay. Actually, what we're doing with a lot of people now is we're going back to like 15 years ago. I'm saying, okay, start filtering your people off of Instagram, get them into an email list. Get them off the social, get them over here. LinkedIn is great, and LinkedIn has really explosive growth. The crazy thing with LinkedIn is like if you post something, somebody comments on that thing, even just comments on something on your own post or on your own feed, it gets shown to every single one that follows them.
Really?
Yeah. So the more comments you can get, that it's just like a gold rush of attention. It shows up on, so if we're not connected and I comment on your post and you guys are connected, you'll see.
I'll see it.
You'll see Mike Mike commented on this thing, and
Wow,
then
I
you're like,
didn't-
who the hell's this Mike guy? And then you might come to me. So it's exponential.
So the reach is far greater than any other social platform.
crazy. Other than TikTok.
So okay,
TikTok.
Well,
Yeah.
hang on. Is TikTok beneficial to construction?
If you're making a lot of video, I think it's incredible. TikTok is generally skewed fairly young, but it's getting older fast. Companies are getting on board with it. It's all video, right? It's these music-based things. But what a lot of people are doing, I have a guy that I connected with called Duncan out of North Carolina, and he's a sales trainer. So he's not singing, he's not dancing. He's just going on and recording like 30-second like sales helpful little things. And one of his posts recently got like 600,000 views or some crazy shit.
Wow.
And so
30-second video.
Yes.
Just him singing or dancing, or
no, just him giving literally sales advice. There's no music on it.
Wow.
He didn't even have music. He was just talking. And people like Gary Vee are going on. They're not singing. They're not dancing. There's no music.
They're just sharing.
They're just basically posting other video that they're putting on there and just letting it go. Just because the audience is there's so much growth and so much attention. Now, if you're creating video, time lapse and different things, or just general stuff going on, you can upload the video into TikTok, and then it will watch it and make a recommendation on music based on the movement and based on this and this and that. So you don't even have to be good at it. You just put the video in, and it's like, oh, we think these 3 songs might match your video well.
Okay.
So it'll just make up the song. It'll just add the song to it, and then you can post. So it's a guy like you where you've got a shitload of produced video already.
Yeah.
I would just start streaming it in there, let it pick the music, and go.
And then just
because
post
yours
it
will
from
take
there.
off.
Well-
Yours will go bananas.
TikTok. Yeah, I've been looking at. I've been curious. What are the top 3 things that any tradesperson should be doing? So I guess right off the bat, look at your website.
Yes.
Like, look at your business and your website and try to figure out exactly who you are profile wise, what kind of business you are, and what message you want to relate to your potential clients, right? And get that message out there strong, right? And then continue it. Don't try to be a performer, because I know that everyone gets on social media construction wise and they want to be all these celebrities. They want to be something that they're not. Really, honestly, stay true to yourself, because everybody's individual, right? There isn't another version of me, there isn't another version of him, right?
Oh,
stay true
definitely
to that.
not.
No, there's definitely not. And then regarding social media, these guys should be paying attention to TikTok for sure. They should be like looking at it. Should we just kind of ignore Instagram for now? Not like keep feeding it, but not focus on it?
The 2 most common platforms. So at this stage, I wouldn't worry too much about growth. I would say as long as you have consistent posts, Facebook and Instagram are platforms that people go to validate that you're a real business and that you look like you exist.
Got it.
Even if you're using the same stuff on Instagram and Facebook and just writing it slightly different or whatever, you know what I mean? Same pictures and even very similar captions. To be honest, we're almost like word for word now, because we don't care about Facebook, but we know that if someone hears about us, they're going to go to our Facebook and they're going to say, okay, they posted a couple days ago as a video about something. Great. I just want to make sure that you're there and that you don't have a bunch of 1-star reviews. That's all they care about. So it's the same way that they used to go to Yelp and Yellow Pages. Okay, how many stars? And then do they actually exist? Do they actually have a real profile?
So it was really just a trust factor. They just wanted to find out,
Big time.
Are you legit to begin with?
Yeah, the amount of people I talk to, so I've done training or consulting with now over 300 different companies. And when I've met some of their customers, and I try and understand their buyers, because that helps me position the messaging and the benefits of their product. One thing that's super, super, super common, especially under 35, is like most people don't even fucking go to the website now. I just go to the Facebook page. Does it look legit? Cool. I'll
Under
give them a call.
35, they're not even going to website. They're going to social.
Some do.
And I agree. I don't care about websites. What do I
True.
want to go on a website?
No, it's
For what?
true.
Yeah.
True.
So making sure that you're there on the, and so even registering on all of these register, like set up a Yelp, never pay them, but set up your profile there, because it helps. So a couple things help. From the SEO side, it's really good. So search engine optimization is basically just trying to get yourself noticed on Google. It's really hard to get noticed on Google under like renovation company, because there's a bunch of them, and there's a bunch of websites, and there's a bunch of stuff that already exists before your website and before your content. So it's hard to kind of rank. But the things that help you rank is if you make profiles on all the different directory sites, every single one that exists.
Just make a profile.
Free account on HomeStars, free account on this, free account on that. Just fill in your base information, because what happens is they're ranking for those keywords. If you look at like construction company Toronto, small renovation, bathroom renovations Toronto, like Oakville, wherever, it doesn't matter. What you'll see is Yelp and HomeStars. You'll see them show up before other companies.
I have a problem with some of these, and I won't use the exact names. You've mentioned a few of them. I find that I'm finding that people are being taken by some of these sites, and I don't want to be connected to them because they're not really policing the construction work or the finished product. And if they have the opportunity or the information to police it, they're not providing the proper information, which makes me believe that I don't want to be connected to someone that's changing the numbers or the feed of the quality of the work.
I'll translate, Mike.
No, I know it's all Yelp. They're just like,
is it Yelp?
They're paid,
No,
them too, but they're pay to play. Like, hey, you don't want to pay. We're gonna move your shit down. We're gonna prioritize your shitty rating. Yelp's been sued many times because of that.
You're
terrible.
talking. You're talking specifically about HomeStars and how clients can actually just leave a bad review.
But it won't make it. I have customers that have put in complaints because they supposedly got the best drywaller in the industry or the best drywaller within that site. They're not. They're just fly-by-night contractors.
I think we're talking about two different things here. I think you're talking about setting up these accounts just to get your business up there, to validate and verify by potential clients that you are out there, you're real.
Yeah, so my thing is this. There's a lot of results on the first page of Google. There's about 20, right? So there's ads, there's 3 ads, there's 3 maps, there's about 14 organic, and then there's ads at the bottom. So my thing is this. You're probably not going to rank for bathroom renovator Toronto unless you're buying a Google ad, which I do recommend because Google ads are some of the best products out there because it's intent-based. I'm going to look for that thing now. But aside from the ads, even if it's just someone searching for you by name, it's very easy for your own name to not even really show up sometimes, right? If you're a small company and you just got a little website that hasn't been online very long, like you just might not show up. So I get a referral. I'm like, oh, cool. I'm going to look up Mike's bathroom renovation company. I go and then I'm like, oh, well, I don't see them anywhere. And so what can happen is they say, well, then I'm going to go find somebody else. There's a whole bunch of other guys out there. When you register on all these sites, even if, again, you're not doing the paid one, you're not even you just make a profile. What happens is when you start searching your name, then your LinkedIn profile, your Facebook
ranked.
profile, your Yelp, your HomeStars, then you're all over the first page under your name. It makes you look bigger. And it just makes you easier to find. And it makes you feel validated.
It
so
is true.
I recommend doing it.
Do you understand?
Okay, no, I understand that. But what I'm leading to is people are going the direction you're saying. But what I'm saying is now I'm getting a feedback from customers. They're not trusting these sites anymore because they've had so much bad experience. Why do I want to be connected to that bad experience? That's what I'm leading to.
No, it's not you want to be connected to that bad experience. It's just that you want to tell your potential clients that you are who you say you are.
I know, but those sites are building bad names for themselves because they're editing their own sites. But a
lot of clients respect Yelp and HomeStars and all these other sites, right?
Well, I'm hearing otherwise. I'm hearing people are very disappointed that the remarks that they've written aren't showing. They're literally removing them.
Well, people are always going to be mad at the internet. People think that Facebook is stealing their, So I do agree that there is some negativity around it, but most consumers. So if I'm just some guy who's never done a project before, and then I'm looking fresh, I got fresh eyes. I'm just looking for this person, or I'm looking for this type of contractor. I have no opinion about any of it. Now, if I've had a bad experience with it, you're going to get that. But people all the time, well, I tried Instagram ads and they're bullshit. They don't work. I'm like, oh, maybe you just suck at them. Maybe, maybe
it's true.
No, maybe Yelp and HomeStars, like they do those things. But I think the overarching piece of it is like, you're not endorsing them in any way. You're just saying, I have a business profile, so you know that it exists. I get it.
I see.
But I think it's
okay, so go to Mike's word about getting that profile out there and get that ranking up there. It's really funny that you just made me think subconsciously. Even when I was at the building show, I was meeting a bunch of new companies and new brands and stuff like that. My first thought was go to their website, But my first thought on the website was to scroll down to the bottom to find out what social lead feeds are they attached to.
Yeah, that's a lot of
just
people.
Intuitively, I just did that.
Yeah.
I just I don't care about your whole page. I don't care about your copy. I don't care about your intro. I just wanted to scroll to the bottom and find out which social icons are attached to your company. And then I particularly went to those social icons to take a look at what you have. So I'm looking at business to business. I want to work with this company, and all of a sudden I'm looking at what they're doing on social.
Well, you know the crazy part about it, though? So, I mean, you're a bit of a different use case because you're in that
Yeah.
space. But that being said, so again, say the referral, hey, Mike's kitchen renovation place. When I Google that, it's very unlikely that because most people suck at SEO and suck at websites. It's more likely that my website's about halfway down the first page of Google, and the first thing that shows up is my Facebook and my Instagram link because my name is already there. And so again, that's kind of that's going to be the first touch point for a lot of people.
What's the percentage of people that do a Google search go past the second page? Because I hardly ever go past the second page.
Never mind get to the second page, let alone go past it. No, it's none.
Most stay on the first page.
The craziest thing is, so the stats I think are like almost 20%. The first three get almost 30 or so percent of all the action. The first three results on the first page of Google.
And those are ads.
Yeah, absolutely.
Most of the time are ads.
Mm-hmm.
So if you pay them, you'll get on them.
You'll get on there. And like you were saying, those Google ads are actually kind of worth it if you know how to do them to get them out there.
There's a couple, so there's a couple things with Google ads that are really important. One of the things that we teach, so Google and Facebook, their ad platforms are evil as fuck. Can I say that here?
Yes, of
I
course
love it that you are.
They are. Okay,
You're winning me over every second.
they're fucking they're really bad. So what happens is you go on to Google or Facebook, you say, hey, this is the type of keyword that I want. Like someone searches for this, I want to be there. And my headlines are here, and my description is here, my website goes here. And that's all great. What they don't tell you is the default match type on Google Ads is called broad match. I'll make it simple.
Sure.
So if you don't put any symbols around your keywords, so you would say kitchen, renovation, companies, Oakville. That's my keyword. If someone searches for that, I want it. What happens though is that when you're leaving it open-ended like that, which is the default setting, 90% of your money is not going to where it should be. 90% of your money is being wasted. What happens is you're saying to Google, hey, I'm going to trust that you read this and look at my website and you can interpret what people are looking for. I'm going to let you understand it. Google has the IQ of about a 6-year-old when it comes to context. It's not smart. So what it can do is, say kitchen renovation.
Oh my God. Carlito, is that your phone? You are busted, man.
I'm also on 24 hours no sleep.
All right, continue, Mike.
And so what happens is it can pull any individual word out of that sentence and bid on it. So Oakville. And it will literally bid on stuff like birthday party ideas Oakville. You'll pay for that shit. Because
that's evil,
Google,
like you
Google
said.
doesn't have they don't have the ability to interpret. So anybody that's run their own Google ads and say Google ads don't work, it's because you suck at them. So that's one.
So you have to be very choosy.
So what you do, there's a fix for this. So if you've done it and that's what your setup is right now, you go into Google Ads, you go under keywords, and there's a little tab called search terms. When you click on search terms, that actually shows you the full string that you bid on and got clicks from. And you'll see some wacky ass stuff. Like you'll see really long 9-word, 10-word, 15-word sentences. You're like, that does nothing to do with what I'm offering. Yeah. Because when you let Google interpret, it just is like, oh, let's get them as much traffic as possible for as cheap as possible. We don't care the relevance. That's the problem with Google. What you can do is you can put these symbols into the keywords to restrict Google's
like symbols
ability.
Like stars and hearts.
Close, yeah. So there's 3 different kinds of symbols. There's quotation marks, and so the quotation mark says, hey, whatever's in the quotation marks needs to stay in place, but anything before or after is good to go. And then there's square brackets, and square brackets says only what's written in the square brackets and nothing else. Even if it's spelt differently, I don't give a shit, whatever's in the square brackets. And then there's the one that's the most impactful so there's a plus sign before each word. So it's called broad match modified. And that's saying to Google, hey, I'm going to let you interpret what people are searching, but every single word that I include has to be in that search somewhere or don't bid on it. And that's the best one. And so most people just don't know that. And they pump thousands of dollars in, and then I go and audit. I do a lot of audits. Most of the time, no less than 80% of your budget's being wasted.
Because it's not getting to where it needs to get to.
A budget? And how much does a budget consist of?
So it's industry to industry. So the Google doesn't pick the price. Facebook doesn't pick the price. LinkedIn ads, they pick the price. They start you at a threshold, and they're expensive as hell.
Yeah, they're really expensive.
Good, but they're expensive. So it's a bidding system. So it's going to go based on who else is fighting for that same keyword, at what time, and how much are they fighting for. A lot of the construction keywords, you can get something for like between $3 and $7 for a click. Whereas if you're a plumber in Toronto, it starts at $85 for one click. One click, because there's so many guys fighting for that keyword. They're saying, well, I'll bid 90, I'll bid 100. I've paid $170 for a click as an advertiser.
For one day?
For one click.
One click.
One click to a website for a plumber. But guess what?
How long does that last at one click?
Depends on how, if your budget times however many clicks, right? So if it's $1,000 a day, it's 5 clicks. That's it.
Wow.
But they will get business from that, because it's usually like, oh shit, something's going wrong.
Someone needs
I
to
need
call
a plumber.
you. Yeah.
Whereas a lot of more renovation stuff is more thought out. It's a longer process, and that's a very extreme example. But like roofing, I've done some like telecom stuff, like online conferencing software that we were paying between $25 and $32 for a click, and it was super profitable. So if it's structured right, it shouldn't matter. But you do have to reverse engineer it. So if your website's good and your website is enticing to get people to get a quote or contact us or whatever it's going to be, you'll figure out an average. I need 15 people to come to my website to get one lead. And if I'm going to pay $4 a click, am I okay with paying this much for a lead? Does this make sense? And then there's ways to optimize it so you can get that cost way down, but you kind of reverse engineer what that looks like for you. There's a couple things that
These are crazy numbers, eh?
No. If you're bidding on basement renovations, right?
Like, what do you physically got to do?
Would you not pay $300 for a halfway warm lead?
Yeah, to get potentially the job? Of course you would.
Whatever you're going to get for that job, right?
But now in today's market, wouldn't you pay that same amount to somebody that's potentially going to be your client on a digital platform? And you're spending that same dollar value, right? So all you're doing is, instead of the face-to-face kind of cold calling, or you're meeting them in person, kind of like how Rob the other day, where he's like, he jumped on every job site and he just went right into the hole and went to speak to every single guy. He was playing the numbers game. All he was doing, I'm going to talk to 10 guys here. One of them is going to say yes to me.
Yeah.
He's spending that. So it's the same thing here.
You're just reducing the amount of driving around at that point.
That's all. Well, spending time on the keys. That's all you're doing. That's the difference. That's the difference that the contractors need to understand. They have to spend this time.
But then you may get a lead, but that doesn't mean you're going to get the job.
Right.
You're closer to getting the job.
So the question becomes, are you good enough to sell?
At that point.
So the ad has to have good context to what the keyword is. Your website has to speak to what you've written in the ad. And if you can get that pretty well notched in, then say I need to talk to 5 warm leads to get a job. Okay, would I pay $1,500 to acquire a basement customer? Probably, right? So it is a numbers game, and it does take a lot of refinement. A lot of people get frustrated because when you don't know how to build that path with those numbers, then you're just like, well, what am I putting money in for? It's not super, super easy, but it's way cheaper. Like if you were to send a direct mail, or you were to put posters out on a bunch of streets, like you're going to pay more than $2,000 for that anyway.
It's true.
You know what I mean?
So I guess, each tradesperson's just got to look at, okay, how is my website? How is the messaging on my website? And then your keywords. Focus on your keywords and don't veer off of that stuff. And that gives you, like you said, a warm lead. And then if you do that, let's say you do it 10 times to 10 different potentials, one you probably will get. So if you get a 1 to 10 ratio, that's worth it, isn't it?
I'm still confused that anyone's even using websites. Like, honestly, like,
you don't get it. No, it's about, I know,
but like,
you're still alive. It's just about you being still alive. You're still there.
But getting a website's not cheap.
It's cheaper these days than it was.
But hold on. But I want to have the conversation around, it's not cheap compared to what?
That's a good point.
Right? Like, so if you were to say, hey, I can put my face on a bus and a billboard for a month. Now, you can just set up a bunch of free profiles. At the end of the day, you don't have to have a website. But if the website is the thing that people come to, because unlike social media, a Facebook profile and Instagram, a website, you can craft a story like you can't do in any other platform, right? So we help new homeowners get out of the bullshit stock basements and make your basement amazing, whatever. But then you can talk about the process and the benefits of those benefits and how it is working
Your
with you and your
story.
testimonials.
Yeah.
And you can stack that into a website. Unlike Facebook, it's got like a little block for about us and a little piece for the story, but it doesn't give you as much flexibility as a website. You can't post and consolidate your gallery of work that you've done in the same way. So I like a website as a showcase piece.
You do need
so
it, man.
so you, I mean, this is what you do professionally.
Yeah.
If you ask me about a bathroom, I'm going to tell you about a bathroom, and I'm hoping you're going to listen to me. So I'm going to listen to you. You're saying website is the most important. Like, you have to have a website. We keep going back to website.
It's not the most important.
No, but it's important. It's
Yes.
that
It is
important,
important.
that every part of the conversation we're having, he keeps coming back to website. That means that as a professional doing this, that's how important it is. So my next question is, how much money do I need to invest into a website as a contractor that is spent wisely?
Easily under $2,000.
Oh, okay. Now you're talking my
So you
language.
were expecting a
I
bigger
keep hearing
number.
5, 10, 15,000.
You don't do websites.
No, I hate websites.
I love this.
I built my social media house and my personal brand site both in under an hour each on Squarespace.
Wow.
Fuck it.
So what you?
$15 a month. Because the thing is, it's the message, right?
It's
if I
the
have a good
message.
couple of pictures,
Oh, I
and
got the message.
the flow is this: what do you do? A little bit more. So very simple value statement. What exactly do I do? Then a little bit about, okay, what does that mean for you? How does it work to work with me? What did other people say about me? Get in touch.
That's your website.
That's one page.
Was perfect.
Yeah, that's your website.
Okay, now because you're a teacher,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at some point you probably do this for people.
I have. Yeah.
You have,
course
but,
he
but
has.
what I understand is you're more trying to teach people like myself that don't have the money to hire someone to do it themselves.
So if you've got the concept, you could just hire a student and pay them $20 an hour and they'll do something. Like, you know what I mean? You can get.
Can I have a number of a student?
Yes, I have a ton of people.
Wow.
I use a ton of. We use a ton
You
of people.
outsource a bunch of people.
Oh shit! Yeah. Do you know how
Because-
much content we produce from the podcast? So we film a podcast. It's an
do?
hour. Yeah, every week.
Wow.
It's an hour-long conversation on video. So what we do is we don't edit the middle. We just cut the beginning, cut the end, so it's one package. That goes to a digital intern on the internet, and then it comes back to us 4 days later as 30 pieces of micro content for LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. And then
What?
they go on social. Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I think you're
absolutely.
just excited, man.
At what kind of a cost?
Well, first of all, zero digital free interns. First of all,
Yeah, I love interns.
Now there
We
are
should have
people,
more in construction.
There are people that we use through the intern program, and they're really good. So we bring them on as freelancers for client work and this and this and that. But there's a program called Gen M, GENM, Generation M. They are out. So GenM.co. They're out of Ottawa. I met the CEO. I got a Facebook ad from him, and I was thinking, I don't trust this. This looks really fucking like, it looks cool, but like I don't trust it. So I emailed him. I said, we got to talk.
too good
I'm
to be
interested.
true.
I'm interested, but let's talk. So we got on the phone and he said, yeah, there's a lot of people that are current students, really recent graduates who can't get a job in their field, or people that are in a field and they hate their life and they want to hone their skills to get better to do other things. They're all on our platform. And what they're looking for is experience with marketing, website building, social media, content creation. And he said, you sign up, you say what skills you want and what platforms they're capable of using. So we go to like Canva and Photoshop and video editing and all that. And then you interview them. And when they engage with you, you pay the platform $45 a month per intern for a 3-month window. So it's $150.
Is that paying you or paying them?
We pay the platform Gen M. The interns work 10 hours a week, remote, for free for 3 months to get the experience and some mentorship from you.
Wow.
And so all of our podcast content is all created by interns. We don't do one thing.
So you just produce it, record it, send it, they chop it up.
They listen to it. They find the sound bites, the 1 minute or less for Instagram, the under 10 minutes for Instagram stories. Now, not everything they produce is the one that's going to go, but if they give us 30 and we can use 20, I don't care. Split the difference.
Wow.
So that's how we do it.
And it falls back on content is king. That's still the king, period.
Yeah, we've done we've increased the business again this year by maybe like 60%. That entire extra 60% was all on the back of someone listened to our podcast, called us about it, or a guest of the podcast that came on referenced us to someone else. Like we've done 6 figures in consulting on the back of the podcast this year. Just people like, holy shit, that was a great idea. Can I hire you to help us do this?
Wow.
It's crazy.
So what does it cost to hire like you to direct me into setting myself up?
It depends on what you need. So if you just need some guidance on like, okay, how do I structure the website? How do I find the right people to do these little things? That's one thing. You can come on my podcast. That's what I do. I deconstruct people's marketing and then I give them a consultation within the podcast. That's what it is.
Wow. Can
So
I
it's
come on?
Yeah. No, 100%.
I do. Like, okay, so
100%.
what's happened is
Yeah.
I just left my partner, and I'm ready to establish my new name, which me and Manny Manny's been pushing me to like get my company name going. So I've established that. I'm just buying that right now, so I'm not releasing what I'm doing yet.
Yep.
With the name.
Dun dun
Dun.
dun.
But people need to know is he's saying dumb.
No, I'm not, man.
No, but getting back to it, so I'm ready to start my own business. So now I need to hire you.
You have to swim in the digital waters, so you need to speak to somebody.
You
like
might
that.
not. Yeah, you might not want to hire someone yet. So here's the real answer. If you can spend a little bit of money, get a website, go register yourself on all the
$2
different
grand being max.
for sure. If you
Okay.
if you provide the content, then somebody can put it together. Make it on Squarespace. Make it on. We actually don't do WordPress.
There's so many platforms out there. To actually,
I really like Squarespace. It's a little bit more expensive per month, but the functionality and the speed and the WordPress is great, but I just find everyone has their own way of building. So with WordPress, it's like different themes that they use. And so every theme is different. I just find it to be a pain in the ass. You got to update shit. Squarespace is simple.
WordPress was a nightmare for me for my first one.
Yeah,
I hated it.
We just use
I hated it.
Squarespace. I've got 6-7 sites on Squarespace right now.
So what was Squarespace cost a month?
So you can pay for the year. It's like $214 for the year.
That's decent.
Yeah.
The way I'm speaking about myself, I'm speaking for a whack of contractors at the same level as me. I'm a blue collar contractor. I'm able to do custom work, but I'm not ready to get there because I don't have the transportation, which is my media.
Yes. So, I mean, there's a couple answers. If you would take social and that out of the picture entirely, like how else are we generating business? If you
Website.
No, but even just outside, just completely offline. Right?
Most guys in the industry, it's word of mouth.
Yes.
Honestly, that's how I do business. I need a drywaller. Just say I need one.
Yep.
I don't because I'm the drywaller. I'll call up 4 of my friends that I trust, like respectful guys that I trust, and I'll say, hey, man, I need a drywaller.
Okay, hang on, but forget about that. Clients. How do you attract clients? It's word of mouth, right? You kind of do one job.
Well,
they know somebody. They
that's
speak
right.
to somebody, and then they go, you should go talk to Carlito. Carlito comes in, gives them a quote. That's how you potentially get a job.
Yeah, like say for example, when I've used Instagram, I'll give like excellent detail and break it down and be professional. I don't get a call. But I start talking about my dick and I make
What
jokes.
the?
And all of a sudden people call me and say, "Oh, you're really funny and
Right.
I think you're really cool and I'd like to use you." And I'm like, "What just happened there?"
It's
I
the
went
platform.
from amateur to professional,
It's the
and
platform.
professional suck.
You need to
and
speak. You need to speak differently on each of these platforms.
Okay.
You have to understand that.
I agree. Yeah, but you know what? Some people just have a cadence for. So, for example, I write like a 7-year-old child. I have no grammar skills. I can barely fucking spell.
Most of us, it's amazing. I
So-
love it. I love it, man.
So for me, we were like, cool. I started writing all these blog posts, and I had a notepad just full of blog posts that never made it to the light of day. And then I was having them ghost written, and then I was finally like, I don't know. Why am I writing? Just give me a fucking camera. Let's go. Give me a microphone and a camera. I know how to
Speak.
articulate what I'm doing.
Got
So you just play to whatever your strengths are. If you're just a funny, sarcastic guy and people get a kick out of it, you're going to lose some business because people, oh, he swears, he talks about his dick. But if the type of people that you want to work with are easygoing, fun people anyway, then fuck all the other people. There's a ton of people that would never hire me.
But there's a ton of people that would hire you. You just need to find you.
Yep.
I go back
1000%.
to you. There isn't another Carlito out there. Thank God.
You love me.
need to find you. And I'm talking about all the listeners. You just need to find you as who you are, truly. Don't make a persona. Try to think this is what the clients want to hear. Try to think what this industry wants to hear. No, fuck that.
I'm being honest when I feel that I give a great video. addressing problems in a different angle and giving people ammunition, people don't really appreciate it. But honestly, I could stand somewhere with Manny and have a bucket in my hand and say some really stupid crap, and all of a sudden I get 5,000 hits. And I'm like, I don't get it.
But
and
your
people
next
are
step now
hey,
is-
you want some work? And
No.
I'm like,
What? Your next step now is how to capitalize on that.
yeah, okay.
That's what you need to figure out. So, again, auditing, you're going back to you as a person and your profile. You need to figure out what works, what's working for you, and then capitalize on that.
And that might be your Instagram bio might be just like some smart ass guy who's just fantastic at drywalling.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
Common sense, really straightforward.
But how many drywall websites have you gone to where it's like, oh, family owned,
I honestly,
history,
this is
that.
this is a new avenue for me.
Yeah.
And the only reason this is even interesting for me is that Manny is really pushing me to go outside of my comfort zone and find a new me.
Yeah.
Which is really who I am. I just haven't searched there. Another thing is my wife. She's very interested in websites, and she loves Manny to death because Manny knows how to keep his, pages going. There's information. He puts time in there. He has that time. I don't. I literally don't. But I also don't have the money to pay someone.
Think about content like this, because I talk to a lot of people who I'm going to do social. I think I got to do it. I got to be there. If you treat content creation like you do invoicing, it's gonna happen on Thursdays between 8 and 10 p.m. That's the game for you. As a single person, what do you have? You've got job sites that you're on, pictures, pictures, pictures. You've got your personality, which obviously attracts a business at a certain level. So you should just be talking to the camera, walking around job sites, and then taking pictures of your job sites. That should be all your content. That's it.
That's a
Nothing
lot
else.
of content right there.
That explains my ex-partner. He's got a great personality,
Dun,
and he
dun,
gets tons of work from
Yeah.
his personality. And
Yeah.
I was always taught, you're hearing a different side of me, but I was always taught to be very professional. Don't swear. Don't behave this way.
Not
This is
in
how
this thing.
I was been brought
Yeah.
up, and I could never comprehend that the phone is constantly ringing for him, constantly. I'm like, I don't get it. But I think I'm getting it.
Here's the real answer that always kind of fucks people up. So this is gonna be a weird, for the next 3 days, everything you look at, you're
I'm
gonna
going
look
to
at it
listen
a
to
bit
this
differently.
podcast 100 times.
So think about the last two people that you hired. Think about the last two things that you bought. Think about how you feel about that brand. You might say, well, I don't feel anything, but you do, because they made you buy something. So more often than not, their social media had a personality or quirkiness or a funniness. It seems like something in their personality, that human connection. Hey, yeah, you know what? This guy tells great dick jokes, so I hired him to do the taping. Right? And so however you buy is how other people buy. People buy from people. They connect with people. They don't give a
Right.
fuck about your service,
I hear
about
you
your
now.
product or your brand. Nobody gives a shit about any of us. You should see, hold on. This is actually really funny. So
So it's really about connection.
this is my biggest motivator of all time.
So he's showing his phone right now.
This is my. This,
I was about
this
to
is-
say.
This is the background of my phone. Nobody cares about what you're doing. Don't forget that.
That's the background of your phone.
It's been the background of my phone for the last 7 years, because it's true. Nobody cares about your drywall and they don't care. But when they need it, and if they already like you, then you win. Game over.
So they care about connecting with you. Mm-hmm.
so evil.
and it's
It's not evil. It's real. When you tell me this, Mike. So you're a kid in elementary school. How did you make friends?
I just punched him in the face and said, "You're my friend."
Mike, when you're in a grade school, how did you make friends? You didn't punch anybody.
Right.
No, I'm just saying is that there was some sort of connection, something that you liked about that person. They became your friend.
And even from a product standpoint, right? So I recently invested in a bunch more podcast stuff because I'm doing some remote stuff. I got some new toys. But even think about it like shoes. So say you're a Nike guy. You don't care. It's the same. They make the same shit as everybody else. The Chinese kids do, but they bring it to the market. but at the end of the day, it's like when you put them on, you feel kind of fucking cool.
Mm-hmm.
And that feeling, they made me feel cool, so I'm going to buy them. I don't care if they were $190. They make me feel cool. They're fresh. They make me look stylish. It's the feeling. They're connecting with that product on that level, and it works the same way in the service-based stuff.
You're totally right. I'm getting it.
Yeah.
Because now that you and Manny are talking about this, and Manny's last question was, I am attracted to funny, strong people. I'm not afraid of intimidation, So if you're funny and you're strong,
You're
I'm
hiring
attracted
them.
to you.
You're gonna hire that person.
Maybe that's what people have been seeing in me, and I just never saw that in myself.
1,000%.
Wow. You're opening my eyes. Is this therapy? This isn't $85 an hour or anything, is it?
No, my therapy is much more expensive than that.
Any other questions, man?
Well, there's tons of questions. I don't want this podcast to stop, actually. You just woke me up after 24 hours of being up. I'm ready to talk for 3 more hours.
So, and I think there's a couple answers, but I think at the end of the day, all the content, all the website, all the stuff aside, at the end of the day, if you think about the people that buy from you, they met you, you connected through some way, whether it was a referral but from the beginning, you had to attract a client. And that was probably some guy in a bar, you're having a drink, you said a dick joke, they're like, you're funny, I'm going to use you for drywall. That's just a weird example.
I talk about my dick all the time.
Oh God, don't get him on his dick.
But I think what happens from there is then he's got another friend that has a similar mindset, and he goes, oh, you need this renovation done? This is the guy. And then you start getting, and if you were to call a bunch of previous customers, people that you've done work for in the past, say, hey, do you know anybody that needs this? I'm creating a new venture. I'm actively looking for some new business right now. Do you know anyone in need of renovation? If they know somebody, they will be super happy to make that phone call, right? Because they've known you, they trust you. People know that a lot of tradespeople suck, just like a lot of marketing companies suck. I've had a bad experience, half done, didn't get done, they overcharged, they did this, they did that. There's nightmare stories. So as soon as you've got someone that's credible from a source that you rely on, it's game over. You've got that business. So I think about it like that. Think about making new business via those connections, and then think about your content reflecting those things, all those things, just put that onto the website, put that your personality on there, make them the personality in your Instagram, all that stuff. It all aligns.
What do I do with what I already have? Do I erase that and restart?
I don't know. I haven't seen what you had, but I don't think so.
Because you
haven't really focused on
I've never
it.
really cared. Honestly, I've never really cared. Everyone around me has been pushing me to do this. I've been fortunate to have been in amazing places in my life that everyone's done the marketing for me, and I've never had to have that tool.
Yep.
But now that I'm on my own and I'm now realizing that I need to market myself, and it's unfortunate that at 48, I am now learning how to run a business at this time in life.
Got lots of time.
Things have changed, right? Mm-hmm. From 30 years ago or 20 years ago, even 10 years ago. I mean, podcasts, even 5 years ago, who would have thought podcasts would work? You know what I mean? And now they're such a medium. So what you're saying is definitely start a web page. Don't spend more than $2,000. Hit
You
Instagram.
can get an inexpensive web page made.
Yeah.
You don't need to go ballistic with your web page.
And I agree with that. That's what I wanted to hear. This is the first person that's actually said a realistic number. Everybody else is out to lunch.
I have a guy specifically. He actually lives in Liberty. I'll set you up with him. He's good for that stuff.
Then you're saying go on Instagram, go on Facebook, go on Twitter.
No. Before you do that, though, find your profile. Find who you are.
Well, I think that's easy. I'm just going to be myself.
Don't delete it. So here's what a lot of people do. Oh, it's not perfect, so I'm gonna. Are you that kind? I don't know if you're that kind of guy. I was the kind of guy where if you ever remember when you're taking notes on a paper and you screwed up a word and you scratched it out and you're like, I want to rip out the whole page and start again.
Thought about it.
That used to be me.
Yeah,
that used to be me. I don't actually even look at the content when I produce a podcast now. I don't listen to it. It just goes to the da-da-da-da. They have the brand standards and they know what to go. I don't even watch it.
So can I put a plug in for you right now? What is your podcast?
Podcast is called Content Sessions. It goes out every Wednesday, YouTube, and then all the streaming the streaming podcasts.
So you got it on YouTube as well?
On YouTube as well, because we shoot video.
Got it.
But I think here's the thing. If you've got an Instagram with 30 posts in it, leave them. Change the profile, but leave them. Put a post, just a black square with text that just says, okay, I'm going to try now. And then everything from there on is the new you. And then some people can go back and be like, what the fuck is this? Oh, this is like when you didn't care. Oh, I see the difference. That's funny. Just like let it go. Just let it ride.
It's funny you say that because we started the podcast a little bit over a year ago. We were experimenting and trying, and I wasn't ready. And then Manny, reapproached me and said, come on, dude, let's do this. We had a great thing going. I really liked it. And I loved it because it was therapeutic for me. This podcast is about the honesty, and I feel like I release blah, 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 therapy again. What I'm leading to is I've now restarted and I have a different attitude than I did a year ago. Like what I said a year ago on the podcast, I don't even feel the same anymore. I have this whole new open vision to life and to business.
You have a different perspective on the construction industry,
Yeah.
so you're contributing to it differently now.
Yeah.
That's what's going on.
On the content perspective, one of the lines on your Instagram persona should be co-host of da-da-da-da. And then get a bunch of the little video clips from that and use that as a post. Oh, this guy's on a show? They're having guests that's been around. Like, you guys have a shitload of content to go back through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cutting up little video clips, and every third post on your Instagram is you on the thing. And so I think then they see, oh, well, this guy's on a show. There's cameras, there's guests. They have real brands on. That's a huge credibility piece.
I'm working
right?
on that.
Yeah.
Carlito doesn't realize there's a lot of work involved.
No, I realize it. And I mean,
You know what? Hang on a sec. I'll speak to that because recently I got a post. So I did a post, and then recently there was a comment left on the post where they just said, "Where's all your construction content? Are you just going to continue with Manny Mondays, and you're going to continue with your podcast, and you're going to continue with paid sponsorships, right?" And I'm like, I just responded back by saying, "Listen, there's a whole other world to the construction industry that's not just the pretty pictures of construction, right? So it's like I'm focused, I'm dedicated to the Construction Life podcast, I'm dedicated to the Construction Life website, I'm dedicated to Manny Monday, I'm dedicated to other things, right? So like you said, I'm shifting gears because social media is about shifting gears. You can't keep on doing the same thing over and over. What you're doing 4 years ago, you have to do something new. You have to try something new.
And it'd be a disservice, right? Like, are we the same people that we were a year ago?
No, you grow.
All social is just taking people on the journey of what you're doing. And if you're not growing, I mean, there should be, and you should get people that revolt. Well, I liked it when you did this. Well, then unfollow me.
That I'm sorry, I don't like you anymore. That's
Yeah,
I know.
get
Good.
I get
See
it
ya.
all the time.
I also added in that comment. I just said, listen, I never asked a single person to ever follow me, man. So if you don't like me now, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
Take care. Where is social going from here?
I don't think it's going anywhere. I think the attention's going to move around to different places. There could be some other thing that comes out. I think at the end of the day, though, the followership and the reach don't really matter at the end of the day. So it's for me, like, I don't have a big following. I couldn't care less. The people that follow me are people that I've connected with through the podcast, through consulting, through clients. And so just them watching my informational content and having a chance for them to share it out, that's creating six-figure business for me. So I couldn't care less. And so I think it's just not focusing on the vanity stuff. Just put out quality stuff, engage and connect in a meaningful way with the people that want to spend their time with you, and just put out stuff that is not sales-driven, but will lead to sales. And so real content marketing. So inspiration, entertainment, information. I said that twice.
No, inspiration, entertainment.
and you can say it again.
Motivation,
Inspiration.
Yeah.
No.
And so those four things, right? So then people get in the habit of, I know what I'm going to get when I come to you, and I'll change and I'll evolve with you. But I think it's just continue putting it out, because you never know when your $250,000 project is going to be, who's going to get your name, or he's going to somehow serendipitously come through a YouTube video. Who is this guy? Go to Instagram. A Manny Monday comes up. I like this guy. This has got a great attitude. I'm going to call him $250,000 contract. You don't know. It happens to me all the time.
It does.
Not that big contract, but I get calls like, hey, I saw your podcast that you did with Vanessa the other week. We're this rapidly growing travel agency. We want you guys to come in and help us guide the path. And that's like a $30,000 3-day thing.
I've always told him and other guys, I go, you just have no idea who might be watching. You have no ideas. If you stay true to yourself and keep on posting content and keep, like you said, adapting, going with it, because we evolve, we change, we grow, we learn. You never know who might actually pay attention to one particular post that you didn't really pay any attention to and thought, all right, I'll post it. It's me.
Yep.
But then they go, you know what? That one post that you did, that's the reason why I called you. And that could work for business, attracting clients, and that could work for building your circle to build your business.
Right.
That's true. I believe that.
My curiosity is, how did you and Manny meet?
Through another mutual friend, my website guy.
It's true. Yeah, through Damien. Yep.
So did that pay out then? It obviously did.
Yeah, of course, because he's been like a huge resource. Like all the stuff that I've been basically saying and I've been putting it together together. I've been slacking lately, but he has taught me a lot
He's
of
been
stuff.
reassuring you that you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, like he's surprised that I've done what I've done.
So you're like a blankie for Manny.
yeah, and you'd be the Charlie Brown Christmas tree, all right?
No, this guy's built a little. He's got a little empire going already. He didn't need me. But I think from the enhancement of it, it's
I
like,
need a blankie.
Okay. I think for me, like my brain is stuck in marketing. I can't even have conversations with normal people anymore. It's really fucking strange.
Perfect.
Like we go to dinner with like my girlfriend's friends, and I'm like, I can't talk to you. Does anybody own a business? Does anybody create content? Please. And so,
But isn't it like
yeah.
it's a weird time now for marketing?
Yeah.
Like it is. I mean, I've got a small background in marketing, but I mean, what's happened in the last 10 years in marketing is absolutely just insane how it's working.
And it's fun. And the nice thing for me is I can make a living making a huge impact on small business. That's what I like.
That's amazing, dude.
Because it's like, here's the thing, right? So you're going out on your own now, but if you'd been out before, you would have been like,
I
okay,
have been 30 years, never had a problem.
We've hired, okay, so we tried this digital marketing company and then these guys and this social media. And like, it's a nightmare out there. There's guys in their mom's basement who can make a beautiful website and then you're screwed, right? Because you don't actually call their previous customers and find out that they sucked. Always do that. Always call the previous customers that they
they're
list
great
on the
salespeople.
website.
That's
and,
all it is.
And just pick their brain. I had a call the other day from this guy in Liberty. He had made a website for us years ago, and I got a call from a guy. It was like a health food product, and he goes, "Hey, do you know Ash?" Yeah, I know Ash. Oh, he said he made a website for you. Yeah, and then he actually like, okay, can you tell me how the experience was? Was it done on time? Was it done on budget? And I was like, yeah, no, he was really great. And you can tell if the person's lying at that point. So just vet it. But it's like contractors. You should vet your contractors. You should vet your marketing people.
Yeah,
Everybody.
but it's harder in our business because when I leave someone's house, I don't want to, not because I don't want to, but why do I even want to inconvenience my customer by having another 100 people call them and say, how was your experience?
I think it's not for everybody. I wouldn't refer everybody to every customer. And you might, maybe pick 10 and then split them up, so not 100 going to one, but 10 going to 10. But I think the key is like, if you made a connection with that person, if you got along, if they were happy and you left them in their spot in a good place, there's no reason why they wouldn't take 2 minutes out of their day. You feel like you're inconveniencing them, but if you're saying, hey, you know what, I'm growing this business, I've got a couple of people that want to ask about the experience. If it's not a problem for you, we'd love to talk to them for 2 minutes. They're like, oh, then they get to feel good about being the guy that helped you get the job. They're thrilled with that.
All right, did we cover anything? Did we miss anything? You want to share anything
I don't want to
else?
stop.
Man,
I'm just warming up here, man.
Fuck, then ask the questions.
Okay, so what's your handle? Share how people can get a hold of you.
Sure, yeah. So on Instagram, Mike AJ Moll. MikeAJMall.to is my personal site, and then socialmediahouse.to is our corporate site.
And your podcast again?
Content Sessions.
What do you want to change in construction? What would you change if you had an opportunity?
He asks this question all the time to everybody.
Everyone
Actually, I like this
everyone
question.
has a different answer,
Yeah.
and I'm just putting all the ammunition together, and I'm ready to have a war. So I want your ammo.
I just had a great experience with 3 different contractors, so that was nice. We had to renovate my grandfather's house. He's been smoking in it for 30 years, and I was moving my sister and her kid in, and they had to like fumigate, carpet clean, painting.
Oh,
the
wow.
ceiling was
It was
painted.
that-
The ceiling was painted 6 coats in the family room.
Maybe they used the wrong paint.
No, okay.
No, but I think so. So I actually was in the flooring industry, in sales and in installation this was back in my early 20s, but I did, and we had a couple of good successful projects. I think the biggest issue is I think that there's a lot of, what's the word? How do I say this? I think people are afraid to hire contractors, just like people are afraid to hire marketers. And what I would say is if you are good at what you do, what I want you to learn is how to suck at validating your business to other people.
Wow.
Yeah, because most people...
Pretty deep, man.
Wait, hang on. So how to suck at validating?
So what happens now is even if you're excellent at what you do, construction or marketing, because we talk to... almost every person that hires us that wasn't a direct referral was like, hey, so I've been burned by the last 3 companies. I've wasted 9 months and 30 grand. What makes you think it's not going to be the same? And for me, the answer is simple. I produce results. And you can talk to the CEO or the president of any company I've ever worked with, and they'll tell you. And they're not going to lie because it's their fucking business. Yeah. And so that's my spiel now. But most people don't have it. They try and backtrack, and then they try and go down on the price, or they try and, oh, well, I did this ROI and I got a 35% click through. And it's like, no, people want to feel comfortable that you can create the result, and then they want to be pitched on the benefits of that result to them. And most people just suck shit at being able to iterate that and validate themselves to a potential customer. I don't know if that's not that specific to the industry, but that's just how I feel from
but that is specific to the industry, man.
It's also your experience, and that's the most important part for me, which opens my eyes up to other things. People coming into marketing, what should they be looking for if they're looking for a job in this industry, in your industry in construction marketing?
So if you're a student that's in school for marketing right now, and that's kind of one answer is, if you're in school for marketing, I've interviewed north of 100 recent graduates.
When you say recent, how recent?
Like in the last year.
Okay.
From a marketing program. None of you know how to do marketing. You know the theory of marketing, but you suck. You've never spent $1 on Google ads. How am I going to hire you to do Google ads? It's ludicrous. So get an internship and just call as many people as you can until someone lets you run the campaign.
For years, man.
Horrible.
Wow.
I can't
just
and as a small agent, I'm a small agency by design. We're 5. I'm not getting bigger because I'm going to live in Mexico for 4 months out of the year. So we're lucky we did this, because in 5 weeks, I'm gone and I'm not coming back till June. And so for me, like, I can't hire a rookie person with no experience, but students, I mean, just really hard time.
But they think that they do.
It's not that they think. There might be the sense of entitlement, which is the parents' fault. So good job, your generation.
That's a whole other argument.
But but at the end of the day, it's like, go out and get real world experience. You can't come into a job with theory and then hoping that that's going to work, because it never works. I've talked to too many people. It's impossible.
We just talked marketing in the last 10 years has changed dramatically. So if they were taught it, whatever, 2 classes ago, 2 fucking graduating classes ago, then what they were taught is not really applicable to what it is going on right now.
Yeah.
And you do have to get on-site experience when it comes to marketing.
Yeah.
And especially like a niche market like construction, which I honestly think is a whole other animal when it comes to marketing.
The other thing is, so most people sell on, I can run a Google ad and I'll get you a click-through rate and I'll get you a this and a that. But what you should be doing is you should be tracking conversions on your website.
What is that?
So a conversion is basically some traffic to your website that's become a lead for you now. And so there's a couple ways to do that. More often than not, it's a form. Fill out this form and I'll get back to you, or click here to email me, or click here to call me. Those are the typical ways. My website's a little bit different. I like to spice it up. So you can reach me by WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, WeChat, just by one click on my website. So I can get correspondence anywhere if you want to. If you'd rather text me or call me or FaceTime me, there's a button for everything.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It's kind of
Even
fun.
from Mexico.
It's kind of fun. Yeah. It's a weird, the ring sound is a little bit different. It's slightly delayed when I'm in Mexico because of the connection. It's like a instead of a ring. So just be cognizant of that. If you call me in Mexico, it's not the wrong number. But then, so you track that. And so there's a thing called Google Tag Manager that sits on top of your website, and it can monitor what happens, what activations happen. So if you ever, from a website, you ever click the phone number and it's like, do you want to call this number?
Never.
Yeah.
No? Okay.
Honestly.
Okay.
You're talking.
that's
my
fair.
next question.
have.
I have a question for you right after this. I'm not going to interrupt you, but never.
Okay. And then have you ever been on a website and there was like the person's email and you could click it and it popped open so you could send them an email?
Yes.
I may have.
Okay. So
You know who you're dealing with over there, right?
So
Okay.
so Tag Manager has an ability. So if you click the call button, there's a code that says TEL:number. It's an outbound URL. So you say to Tag Manager, hey, if TEL or mail to or contact form, if any of those activate, I want you to keep a recording of when that came through. And that's a lead. So that's somebody filled out the form. So there's an activation on my website. So pay attention to that thing.
Wow.
So when you're running an ad, Google ads, say you've got 10 different keywords and a really simple campaign. So you're using only 10 keywords. So you might have 10 clicks from each keyword. So this keyword got searched and someone came to the website. But of those 10, so 100 clicks to the website, you got 4. So 4% conversion is pretty good. 4 of those people became a lead by calling you or emailing you or filling out the form. What keywords did it? If you don't know that, you're toast. So setting up conversions coming into from the marketing side, and then understanding it's people to people. If I'm selling you marketing, what do you care about? Not how many clicks. You care about leads. You care about business,
no, that's
but
what
I can't.
Want.
So we start at the beginning. You want clients. I can't get you clients, 'cause if you suck at selling, it's game over. But I can get you leads. That's where I have to leave. From leads to traffic to clicks, that path.
That's you.
That's me. And so I think if you're getting into that space is like figuring out for the type of project, what that contractor, what that person can afford to pay for a lead. And then doing everything you can to make sure that that cost per lead stays consistent. Because if you say $30 a lead, I need 10 leads to get a client, I'm good to pay 300 because I'm going to make 5K or whatever it is on the job. So understanding those numbers and understanding what they can pay for a lead and not just selling, I'll get you clicks. You got to sell it based on a conversion action.
There's more to this.
All right. Here's probably one of my last questions because I can see the way Manny's eyes go back and forth.
I'm not the only one that's tired.
He's like, his eyes are going left, right, left,
tired,
right.
man.
You're tired.
You're tired. I'm tired. We're both tired.
I'm going to use myself as an example that there's many people like myself out there.
Especially in construction.
Manny's probably surprised that this actually exists, but it does. What is my homework until my next step to talking to you?
Best thing to do. So all marketing and all content and all websites and all this stuff, the answer's already out there. There's somebody else that's doing it, that's doing a good job, and they're successful. Don't reinvent the wheel. Don't go home and say, okay, what's my value proposition? And how am I going to talk about how they work with me? Just go to 100 websites in the next 2 weeks of exactly just drywallers. Look them up, look at their social, look at their websites, find the things that are the most common, mark them down. They talk about, so like what are the benefits that they talk about, right? Affordable or easy to work with or create results, get their job done on time, whatever those things are. So even if you don't go to 100, say you go to 20 websites of people that are just like you, find the most common stuff, and that's all your content for your website. That's it. And then just put your spin on it. Put your voice and your brand feel to it. And then same with social, right? If you look at someone's page and they get really great engagement, so they've got 1,000 followers and they get 50 likes, okay, great. That's a good level of people liking their stuff. What are they doing? Oh, they're posting a lot of videos of them talking to the camera. That's it. Don't reinvent the wheel. Just look at what the people that you aspire to get up to are doing, and then just steal their shit. And then if they stop doing it, then you'll know it's not working, and then you stop doing it. But you don't have to learn through pain point. You can just take the best of the best, put your voice on it, and that's it. That's what I would do.
Wow, well said.
That's basically your starting point.
Well,
man.
listen. The truth is, some of the most amazing ideas have been reinvented and just changed a little bit to be even better.
And they were all done by creations, right?
There's nothing wrong with taking it. That's why you need a trademark. Did you say with my penis?
I said, and these were all done by creations.
Yes,
right?
of course. I don't know why I heard what I thought I heard.
I know why.
We got to wrap this up, Mike. Thank you so much, man. You're going to beatbox out of here? There we go. We got to get the hell out of here. Thank you so much, Mike. This has been extremely helpful.
Thanks, guys.
I already know this one's going to get listened to a lot by him, but a lot by the listeners. He's going to make notes, and he's going to call me every day. He's going to probably text me in the middle of the night going, when Mike was talking about this, what was he talking about? I was going, you listen to the podcast all over again, okay? I'm tired of answering your questions.
The 416 TO, baby.
Out.